Listina Euro, do not rush past this moment. Do not scroll away as if this is just another sound in the noise of your day. There is a reason your eyes paused here, even if your mind wants to pretend it was an accident. It was not. I am speaking to you now from a place you cannot see but have felt many times before, Euro, in that quiet pressure behind your chest, in the ache that comes when you know something matters but you don't yet know why. Stay. Just stay a little longer. I will not shout. I will not threaten you. The truth does not need to scream to be powerful. It only needs to be heard. There is a battle around you that has nothing to do with fire or horns or dramatic scenes. It is quieter than that. More patient. It waits for moments exactly like this one, Euro, moments when you are tired, distracted, unsure, and tempted to believe that nothing truly matters. The greatest victory of darkness is not making you evil. It is making you indifferent. It is convincing you that one small choice does not count. That skipping one moment of awareness will not change anything. That you can come back later. But later is the language of delay, and delay is where light slowly bleeds out. I am not here to frighten you. I am here because you are standing at a thin place, Euro, a crossing point, Euro, and you can feel it even if you don't have words for it. Something in you has been restless. You have tried to name it boredom, or stress, or exhaustion. But deeper than all of that is a quiet knowing. You were not made to sleepwalk through your own life. You were not made to be numb. You were not made to hand over your attention, your breath, your inner authority to anything that feeds on forgetfulness. The enemy you fear most does not arrive with violence. It arrives with comfort. With distraction. With the soft whisper that says, Ethis can wait. With the gentle nudge that says, you don't need to take this seriously. With the lie that says, you are too flawed for your choices to matter anyway. That is the lie I have come to interrupt. You have been told, in 1,000 subtle ways, that you are weak. That your past disqualifies you. That your confusion makes you unreliable. That your wounds mean you cannot be trusted with responsibility or light. But listen to me carefully now, your wounds are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of survival. The fact that you are still breathing, still questioning, still searching means something in you refused to die when it was easier to disappear. That stubborn spark, Euro, that is where heaven reaches you. When I say Edo, not skip this, Euro, I am not talking about a message on a screen. I am talking about a moment of choice inside you. A moment where you either lean toward awareness or drift back into sleep. A moment where you either claim your breath as sacred or give it away to noise. This moment will pass either way. But you will not pass through it unchanged. If you turn away now, nothing dramatic will happen. The world will not collapse. No thunder will strike. That is why it is dangerous. Darkness rarely announces victory. It simply collects small withdrawals of attention, tiny surrenders of presence, quiet agreements to remain unconscious. Over time, those small choices build a life that feels empty, heavy, and disconnected, Euro, and you will not remember exactly when it happened. Light works differently. Light begins with noticing. With staying. With allowing yourself to feel what you have been taught to outrun. I see how tired you are. Not just in your body, but in your spirit. You have carried questions no one helped you answer. You have carried responsibilities that were never meant to be yours alone. You have learned to keep moving even when something inside you was begging to stop and be heard. That is not weakness. That is endurance. But endurance without meaning eventually turns into despair. This is where the turning begins. That I am asking you to choose presenza euro, not perfection. In this single sentence lives an invitation that feels almost dangerous in its simplicity. We have been trained, conditioned, rewarded, for so long to chase the polished version of ourselves that the mere suggestion of showing up exactly as we are can feel like stepping off a cliff. Perfection has become the currency of belonging, the password we whisper at the gates of acceptance. But perfection is a performance, and performances require masks, scripts, lighting, and constant vigilance. Presence asks for none of those things. It asks only that you arrive. Arrive with the tangled hair of a sleepless night. Arrive with the ache that has lived under your ribs for months. Arrive with the parts of you that still flinch when tenderness is offered. There is no dress code for this gathering. The only requirement is that you stop rehearsing your entrance long enough to actually walk through the door. Choose onestà euro, not performance. Performance is seductive because it gives the illusion of control. If I can shape how I am seen, then perhaps no one will notice the cracks. If I can curate the narrative tightly enough, maybe the story will never unravel. But honesty is the opposite of curation. It is the moment you let the story breathe, even when it breathes unevenly. It is the quiet admission, perhaps only whispered in the dark to the ceiling fan, that you are tired of pretending the weight feels manageable. That the smile you wear in public sometimes costs more than you can afford. That beneath the carefully selected updates and filtered photographs there is a human being who is longing for something deeper than likes and validation. And here is the tender, terrifying truth you are being invited to speak, even if only to yourself at first: you want more than survival. Survival is a legitimate achievement euro, make no mistake about that. There are seasons when simply continuing to draw breath is an act of profound courage. Many people never make it through those seasons. But you have. And now something inside you is whispering that continuing is no longer enough. Not because you are ungrateful, not because you are greedy, but because you are Olivia Euro, and aliveness eventually demands more than mere continuance. It demands texture, color, heat, risk, contact. It demands a life that feels real again. What does real feel like? It feels like the chest opening when you laugh without calculating how loud it is. It feels like tears arriving without apology or explanation. It feels like noticing the warmth of sunlight on your forearm and letting the sensation exist without turning it into content. Real is not glamorous. Real is often inconvenient, messy, vulnerable. Real is the moment you catch yourself humming an old song you haven't thought of in years, and for a few seconds the mask slips and you remember what your own voice sounds like when it isn't trying to please anyone. You want your heart back. Not the symbolic heart of greeting cards and love songs, but the actual living organ that has been quietly raided, portioned out, used as collateral for approval, for safety, for belonging, for the illusion of being enough. Everything that has fed on it without permission the endless comparison, the self-criticism dressed up as self-improvement, the relationships that asked you to shrink, the jobs that required you to mute your own knowing, the culture that profits from your self-doubt has taken more than it was ever entitled to. And now the heart is calling itself home. The devil in this story does not arrive with horns and flames. He arrives as forgetfulness. He does not demand worship, he only needs you to forget that you have a choice. To forget that attention is not a passive stream but a creative force. Wherever you place your attention, you pour energy. You give life to that place. You fertilize it. You make it grow. Scroll for hours and you grow numbness. Ruminate on shame and you cultivate more shame. Dwell on fear and fear becomes architecture. But the opposite is also true. Return to your breath for even 30 seconds and you begin to reclaim ground. Turn toward a value you once held dear, even if you can only touch it lightly, and the territory remembers you. Listen to the quiet inner knowing that has never entirely left, and something ancient inside you begins to straighten its spine. Every return is reclamation. Every pause is revolution. You do not need to storm the gates. You only need to stop walking away from yourself. You may feel unworthy of this moment. That feeling is not evidence against you, it is evidence of how skillfully worthiness has been weaponized. For years, perhaps decades, the message has been repeated in subtle and not so subtle ways: you will be allowed to rest, to receive, to take up space only when you have earned it. Only when you are thinner, smarter, more successful, more healed, more likable, more disciplined, more whatever the current standard happens to be. The carrot is perpetually dangled just out of reach, and the stick is the constant threat of being seen as not enough yet. But worthiness is not a prerequisite for light. Light does not interrogate your resume. Light does not ask for references. Light arrives because you exist. Because your lungs still rise and fall. Because your nervous system, battered as it may be, still registers warmth, still flinches at danger, still remembers how to soften when safety is present. Light comes because you are responsive. And right now, you are responding. You are reading these words. Something in you leaned in instead of scrolling past. That lean is holy. That small act of curiosity, of not yet giving up, matters more than any grand accomplishment ever could. The courage to stay present is an invisible revolution. It is the revolution that happens not in the streets but in the silence between two thoughts. It is what unfolds when you decide to remain here, in this breath, in this body, in this fleeting moment, while everything around you conspires to pull you away. The modern world does not simply distract, it engineers distraction. Its architecture is deliberate. Its corridors are lined with dopamine and design, with language meant to make you feel that if you are not scrolling, not sharing, not keeping up, you are vanishing. Every notification is a small seduction, a whisper that tells you you're missing something vital somewhere else. Every algorithm is a confessional booth that takes your attention as tithe, offering you back a mirror so carefully angled that you mistake reflection for reality. The economy of distraction is not chaotic, it is exquisite in its precision. It knows how long your discomfort lasts before you crack open another tab. It knows when your loneliness spikes and how to lend you temporary relief disguised as connection. To pause in such an environment is not laziness, it is courage rediscovered. It is not weakness leaving the body, it is power returning home. To sit still while the world spins faster is to commit quiet rebellion. To feel the raw pulse of longing or grief instead of numbing it is to reclaim something holy. Awareness, in this time, is an act of luminous defiance. It is the candle that refuses to flicker out in a storm of noise. These acts are not small. They are the exact opposite of small. They are tectonic in their quietness, revolutionary in their refusal. Every time you close the app and feel the anxious rustle in your chest, you are standing on sacred ground. The restlessness that follows is not evidence of failure, it is evidence of detoxification. It is the echo of a body and mind weaning themselves from endless seduction. You are refusing to let your attention be mined, refusing to participate in the quiet colonization of your inner life. Every time you name your emotion instead of drowning it in distraction, you protect the soil of your soul from erosion. Every deliberate breath you take instead of another scroll is a declaration, this far, and no further. And you are not being asked to burn everything down in one day. The voice that demands overnight transcendence is the same voice that sold you perfection. €1 is the same voice that whispers, €1 you are never enough, €1 only to sell you another version of yourself. The one moment where you choose not to abandon yourself becomes the foundation for the next. These tiny €1, the ones no one sees, no one praises, no one posts about €1, are forming the architecture of liberation. They compound over time. They braid themselves into your nervous system until awareness feels like home again. From these trembling beginnings, every other kind of courage can bloom. I will remain here with you. Not ahead like a coach measuring your progress. Not above like a deity tallying your devotion. Here €1, simply, quietly €1, as witness. The kind of witness that does not flinch when you falter, that does not punish you for forgetting. Presence does not demand performance. It asks only for your return. There is no deadline. No cosmic scoreboard. No tally of how many times you slipped. There is only one next honest step, and then another. If fear rises, let it. It is not your enemy. Fear is a voice from within the fortress you built, calling for light. It speaks in the only language it knows, urgency. But you are allowed to listen without obedience. You can let fear speak without signing the contract it offers. Doubt, too, will come. It may sound convincing. It has rehearsed its lines, refined its tone. But when you offer it space without surrender, it begins to lose its power. Every fearful thought that no longer dictates your action dissolves a piece of the old architecture. Neither fear nor doubt gets to have the final word unless you hand them the microphone. And even if you do €1, if you hold that microphone out for months or years €1, you can still choose again. Because grace does not expire. The opportunity to return never closes. The heart waits longer than you imagine. This moment €1, this exact heartbeat €1, is still open. Not because darkness is gone, but because choice is not revoked. The flame of agency still burns somewhere inside you, no matter how faint it feels. The only way to truly lose this moment is to look away from €1, to abandon your own seat in consciousness. That is the slow disappearance we have been taught, vanishing not through death but through distraction. You are far too valuable to vanish again. Not in the sense the world defines value €1, not in productivity, performance, or appearance €1, but in the sacred sense that cannot be quantified. You are a living aperture through which life itself wakes up to its own beauty. You are breath animating stardust, consciousness wearing skin, longing in motion. To go numb is not a personal failure €1, it is the dimming of something exquisite that the world needs alive. When you disappear from awareness, the symphony of creation loses a note only you can play. So stay. Breathe. Let this moment be the point where remembrance begins €1, not the finish line, not the grand awakening, but the subtle turning back toward yourself. The raw, unfinished, still curious version of you who has survived so much forgetting. The one who still hopes in secret, even when hope feels naive. The one who still feels, even when feeling hurts. The one who still chooses, even after years of autopilot. I am here. Not ahead, not behind €1, beside you. Within you. Beneath you. Around you. A quiet witness that neither judges nor hurries you. A voice that knows the way home because it is home. You are not too late. We tell ourselves that all the to me €1, that we missed the window, wasted too many years, failed too many times. But time itself bends around choice. The moment you decide to turn your face toward awareness again, even for one breath, life rushes to meet you. The universe exhales when you do. You rejoin the pulse you never truly left. So keep breathing. Keep returning. Keep choosing. Presence does not eliminate Pain-Euro, it transforms your relationship with it. To stay awake in suffering is to witness the alchemy of healing unfold in real time. Pain, when met without resistance, becomes less of an enemy and more of a messenger. It may arrive with jagged edges, but hidden within it is the seed of understanding. When you stop fighting it, you begin to hear what Ida-Euro's been trying to say all along, that you are still whole, even when you feel fragmented. Awareness softens even the hardest moments. It catches the jagged thoughts before they draw blood. It brings spaciousness to the Mind-Euro's claustrophobic rooms. And in that space, love sneaks in quietly, without announcement. Not romantic love or cosmic fireworks, but the steady hum of aliveness, the certainty that your breath itself is enough. This returning is not glamorous. It will not trend. It will not gather medals. But it will return you to your soul, the only home that cannot be taken. You will notice yourself coming back in subtle ways, in the pause before you reply, in the choice to rest rather than scroll, in the whisper that says, eb here. Life begins to feel less like something happening to you and more like something happening through you. As you deepen this practice of presence, time shifts its texture. Hours feel less like enemies to conquer and more like companions to walk with. You notice details you used to miss, the wavering light on a wall, the sound of your own breathing, the quiet intelligence in a tree's stillness. These are not trivial moments, they are sacred portals. Awareness reveals beauty not as an abstraction but as a frequency always available when you slow to match it. You start realizing that the world is not as loud as it seemed, Ida-Euro's your divided attention that amplified the noise. Silence, once terrifying, becomes nurturing. Rest, once guilt-inducing, becomes creative. Even your pain starts to hold poetry within it. You begin to sense that maybe. So when you feel lost, remember, you do not need to fix everything. You do not need to chase understanding. Sometimes awareness is enough. Sometimes the act of simply being is the miracle. The mind will protest, it will insist that more effort, more knowledge, more doing are required. But the soul speaks in the language of ease. It asks only that you allow. I am here with you now, closer than the breath you are taking, closer than the thoughts rising and falling in your mind. I did not arrive suddenly. I have always been standing in this quiet place beside you, waiting for the moment you would stop running long enough to feel me. You have not failed by feeling discomfort. You have not fallen behind because uncertainty still visits you. These sensations are not signs of weakness. They are signs that something real is happening inside you. They are the evidence that you are alive, awake, and no longer numbing yourself to survive. Allow the discomfort. Let it exist without trying to name it as good or bad. Let it sit beside you like an old traveler who has come a long way to deliver a message. Discomfort is not here to punish you. It is here to show you where your attention is being asked to grow. You have spent years tightening your body and hardening your heart just to make it through the day. Of course it feels strange now to soften. Of course uncertainty feels loud when you stop drowning it out with noise. This is not regression. This is thawing. Allow even the longing to escape. Do not shame yourself for it. That longing once saved you. It carried you through moments that would have overwhelmed you if you had felt them all at once. When the world was too sharp and love broke you open without warning, numbness stepped in like a shield. It did its job. Honor it for that. Thank it gently, the way you would thank a guard who stayed awake through the night so you could rest. And now, tell it the truth, you are safer than you were then. You no longer need to disappear. Allow even the longing to escape. Do not shame yourself for it. That longing once saved you. It carried you through moments that would have overwhelmed you if you had felt them all at once. When the world was too sharp and love broke you open without warning, numbness stepped in like a shield. It did its job. Honor it for that. Thank it gently, the way you would thank a guard who stayed awake through the night so you could rest. And now, tell it the truth, you are safer than you were then. You no longer need to disappear to survive. You are capable now of staying present without being consumed. This did not happen overnight. It happened quietly, through countless moments you thought did not matter. Each time you felt pain and did not collapse. Each time you felt fear and still chose honesty. Each time you paused instead of reacting. These were not small victories. They were initiations. You have matured into a consciousness that can witness pain without drowning in it, that can feel deeply without losing itself. Presence will begin to reward you in ways your old life never could. Not with constant excitement. Not with endless stimulation. But with something far richer and steadier. Presence restores your capacity for genuine joy. Not the loud joy that demands attention, but the quiet joy that rises on its own, without effort. The kind of joy that surprises you in the middle of an ordinary moment. The kind that feels like a warm current beneath your days. You will notice it when you taste your food and realize you are actually tasting it, not just eating while thinking about something else. You will notice it when light enters a room and rests on a wall, and for no logical reason your chest softens. You will notice it when laughter escapes you unexpectedly, and for a moment you remember what it felt like to be unguarded. These are not trivial pleasures. These are the riches of a soul that has returned to itself. The world, however, will not stop pulling at you. It will continue to flash and buzz and demand your attention. Notifications will glow like small fires, promising connection, relief, importance. Old habits will try to reassert themselves, looping again and again, because they are familiar. Do not be discouraged by this. Awareness does not mean the absence of temptation. It means you notice the pull without obeying it automatically. Each time you feel the urge to escape and choose instead to pause, something profound happens. You reclaim yourself from systems that benefit from your distraction. You remind the world, and your own nervous system, that you are not a machine designed to react on command. You are consciousness embodied. You are attention with agency. You are choice, moment by moment. This choice will not announce itself with fireworks. It will show up as small, almost invisible decisions. One breath before picking up your device. One moment of silence instead of filling the space. One honest feeling aloud instead of suppressed. Do not underestimate these moments. Repeated over time, they become a revolution inside you. A quiet one. A sustainable one. One that does not burn you out but brings you home. You are not being asked to reject the world. You are not being asked to withdraw into isolation or abandon the tools of modern life. You can still use your devices. You can still connect, share, learn, participate. The invitation is not to disconnect from life, but to re-enter it from awareness rather than addiction. From intention rather than reflex. From choice rather than compulsion. Presence does not remove you from the world. It roots you more deeply within it. It allows you to meet life as it is, instead of constantly chasing relief somewhere else. When you are present, even difficult moments carry a strange clarity. Even sorrow has shape and meaning. Even waiting becomes alive. So breathe again now. Not to achieve anything. Not to calm yourself perfectly. Just to feel the simple miracle of air moving in and out of your body. Feel its texture. Feel the way it fills you without asking permission, the way it leaves without taking anything with it. Let this breath remind you that life is not happening somewhere else, in some future version of you, or in some imagined escape. Life is here. It is happening now. It is unfolding one inhale, one exhale at a time. You are not too late. That story was never true. Time has not passed you by. You have not missed your chance. The invitation to begin again is woven into every moment you are alive. Return is always available. There is no final door that closes against you. Grace is not scarce. It is built into the very structure of existence. Every inhale is an open door. Every exhale is a release. You do not have to earn this. You do not have to deserve it. You only have to notice it. You only have to stay. Stay with the feeling instead of fleeing it. Stay with the breath instead of rushing past it. Stay with yourself, even when you feel shaky or unsure. Especially then. I am here in that staying. I am here in the quiet between your thoughts. I am here in the space where you stop performing and simply are. Listen now, not for a voice outside you, but for the gentle recognition inside. The sense that something true is being remembered. The sense that you are not alone in this moment. You never have been. The light you feared you lost never went anywhere. It did not abandon you when you numbed yourself. It did not leave when you doubted. It waited patiently, known.